Hi, welcome to the channel. Today's video is titled Officer Tatum drops major update in Charlie Kirk investigation. Okay, interesting. We're going to check this video together and I'll love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Obviously, have you been following the Charlie Kirk's investigation and recent updates or updates on this? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What are your thoughts with him being unalived and with the recent development? Let me know what you think regarding this. So we're going to check this video together and I'll love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Let's dive right in.
What are the odds that there was no autopsy performed?
It probably would be the first time in modern history in the United States of America that an autopsy wouldn't be performed on a person who got killed. You know, every single person that is killed, there is an autopsy done, no matter if you're a celebrity or not. How do I know? Because every person that had been killed when I was a cop, I go down to the morgue and you know, we had to do the whole rigmarole. And that person, due to an investigation or potential future investigation, there has to be a determination of cause of death. So they go and do a autopsy. And the only exception of an autopsy is a person dying from natural causes, which means that if you had, you know, you were in hospice and you were 99 years old and you had cancer that was, you know, terminal, and you were obviously dying from that, or you had dementia or something and you were doing that, and there is no foul play. And therefore, they allow the family to take you straight to the funeral home, and then they embalm the body and they do everything, and then they put you, whatever you want, to open casket or they cremate you or whatever the case may be. But when you are involved in an investigatory death, which means somebody killed you or your death was mysterious or there could be an assailant associated to your death, 100% of the time you get an autopsy. And I confirmed, obviously, because I have connections, and I confirmed that the autopsy was done after I made the video. But I just
Really?
knew just on police my police experience, and everybody that works in the hospital know exactly that I was telling the truth. That's why you see a bunch of nurses and doctors in the comment section saying this is 100% true. There is law. You cannot not do an autopsy in a murder trial by law. The hospital has to do it. And one of the reasons for doing that, and you watched the video, but for the audience, is that you got to have evidence for a trial. When you go to trial, you have to prove that this person did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And you have to, in your affidavit, if you write down that the person was killed by this weapon, you got to have evidence that the person died from that weapon. It's not just an assumption. It's not just because he was on top of the roof and he fired the gun. That could be circumstantial evidence, but you need hardcore evidence that the round that they found in his body traced back to that specific gun. And then that gun was placed, you know, operated by a person on the roof that you see running and ditching a gun and Discord messages. You have to put all that together, or you will develop, or it could be developed, reasonable doubt. And if there's any reasonable doubt, then the person is not going to go to jail. And you can let murderers get off all the time. And I'll give you another example. If a person wants to do something nefarious to their spouse, right? You poison them, you do something like that, they die, and you're like, oh, I don't know, he had a heart attack. They're not going to just take your word for it and say, oh, yeah, take them to the funeral home. No. If a person died of anything could have been afoot, which means that there's no real reason why the person died. They take them in and they give them an autopsy. And for people claiming that there was no autopsy done, those people are either ignorant or they are willfully creating conspiracies, because I have noticed that conspiracies make you money. Every person that I've seen that have blasted crazy conspiracies, the lapel mic is the one that killed him. Israel did it. Turning Point USA has something to do with it. The video guy was covering up information. I mean, they get 3,000 views, 10,000 views. When they talk about this, they get 100,000 views. They get 1 million views. And therefore, people are willing for financial gain to go down a rabbit hole that is completely ridiculous. And the sad part is, for people that knew Charlie and that work with Turning Point, to say conspiracy theories about his team and about the video guys and all this is even worse. These people, I know all of these people at Turning Point. I've been working with them since 2017, almost 10 years. And I know each and every person that was involved Each and every person that was on that film. I don't know all the security guys, but I know at least 3 or 4 of them that I saw. I know some of the people that were standing, like Frank Turk. I know some of those people personally. There is no way whatsoever that any one of these people would want to see Charlie Kirk die. Charlie Kirk was the lifeline of Turning Point USA. Everybody's job, everybody's future was dependent on Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA. Now, I believe God can put Erica in a position to help sustain what Charlie has built, but nobody can be Charlie.
Yeah.
And it's like committing, I would say committing career and business suicide if you were to participate in Charlie's demise.
I mean, the theory.
Exactly that. Because when I hear lots of people say, "Oh, there was no autopsy done," like, what? Did you really say that? Or you hear people say, "Oh, is the lapel mic, or what's that thing on the mic? You see the mic flew." Talk about the video guy, or talk about the body guy that is, you see his ant signal, or you see someone else. And what? Where are you all getting all of these ideas from? Like, what? Are you for real? Are you for real? It literally makes no sense to me. No freaking sense. And I just said, like, yeah, you guys just you guys just say things like without reason, without thinking. It makes no sense. What's even crazy is the mic, or the lapel mic, to say, okay, it was whatever nonsense talk that was. Like, what? What? And thank you, the Officer Tatum, for clarifying that regarding the autopsy, because I just think lots of people think, oh, because many things were not publicized or put out there in the public, then automatically, oh, there was no autopsy and whatever and whatever. And worst of all is the fact that people be like, oh, Erica is not grieving enough. Hello? What do you mean by that? That woman literally is grieving. She literally just lost her husband, the father of her kids. How else do you expect her to grieve? Only when she's on camera, for her to turn on the camera and be crying for your satisfaction or for your benefit? People grieve differently. So don't come up here to say, oh, she's not grieving enough. How is she supposed to? She should be wailing up and down, and then you'll be satisfied? If she's not willing enough, if she's not wailing enough, or she's not grieving enough to in your own eyes, then grieve for her. Is there anything wrong if you grieve for her? Because that woman is going through, she's dealing with a lot, and nobody, I don't wish that on anybody. And every day I pray to God for God to give her the strength to carry on the legacy of her husband and take care of her kids and the business. Because which one is she's not grieving enough? The exact way somebody would act or behave is not the same for other people. Some people have a fallback. Maybe she does not have a fallback. And this is where she's finding strength. Do you know what happens behind closed doors? You don't. You see her in a video camera acting all like everything is okay, when deep down things are not okay. This woman freaking just lost her husband. And you want to know what's worse, or what's going to shock you, or what's shocking the most? Her husband's birthday is coming up soon. There's going to be a constant reminder. Imagine living in the same apartment or the same house, and that man is never going to come back. But yet people say she's not grieving enough. How else do you want to expect her to grieve? To cry, climb to the sky and start crying for everybody to be happy? People should leave that woman, that family alone.
Of the shot coming from behind seems to be logically disproven by what you just said. Like it seems
Yeah,
like that would put it to bed.
not only logically, there was an autopsy done.
Right.
And there's no entry, and this is not an exit wound, according
Right.
to the autopsy, which is very clear. But people, for some reason, they don't want to believe that the autopsy there. The autopsy yielded, they found out, and I don't want to say too much, but the autopsy yielded where the entry wound was and how the bullet killed him. It's already been determined. They found the bullet lodged in his body. They can tell you exactly where, what was severed, what killed him, where the bullet traveled from his neck down through his body. They have it all, fragmentation of the round that spouted through his body. They have all of that investigated through an autopsy, and it's given over to the FBI. So they know exactly what happened to Charlie. It is no question that there was no entry wound anywhere else in his body. There's no question. And people still push it.
Yeah, people are going to claim that the FBI are lying.
Yeah, but
I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, Warren, it's like it's too complex because the FBI in DC isn't the FBI in Salt Lake City, and the coroner's office isn't associated with the federal government whatsoever. And so and the doctor isn't really associated, who operated on Charlie isn't associated with the coroner's office. These are different agencies that we're talking about. Now the FBI is connected, but Kesh Patel have no idea what they were investigating when they initially went to investigate in Salt Lake City at his death. The people who put the crime scene tape up, who collected evidence, the people who collected the gun, all of those people were Salt Lake City FBI division. That's not DC FBI. So Kesh Patel is not privy to everything that they're doing. They're operating according to the way they should operate on any investigation.
Yeah.
Now, there could be a conglomerate approach where at some point they let Kesh Patel know where they are at in the investigation, but Kesh Patel can't tell you the person that collected the rifle. Kesh Patel can't coordinate what the chain of custody was, because when you do stuff like collecting a rifle, an individual with a badge number or an employee number has to get the product, put it in a bag. He has to sign off after securing the product or securing the evidence that he is the one that secured the evidence. He has to take that evidence, document it in a supplementary case report to document what he did, storing it in his vehicle, in the trunk, in the front seat. He has to explain all of this in a supplementary report. Then he has to take it to a facility that is not associated with the FBI. It is a crime lab. And then he put it in the system, and the system checks it in, and he gives his sign off on paperwork that it was him, and he transferred it, and he, through penalty of perjury, that he was the only one that had custody of it. There's a seal on the product that he signed his name over, and it goes through a whole process, and then it's loaded into the system, and then there's a person on the other side that has to sign off that they received it, and they took it to a lab, and they test fired 3 times, and it's complicated stuff here.
So there's 2 big questions floating around, right? The first one, so we have, how did he break down the rifle in that amount of time? As a police officer, do you have any insight on that? Like Rob O'Neill, the guy who shot bin Laden last night on Pierce Morgan's, like it would take him 5 minutes, he's claiming.
Yeah, that the FBI came back and said he never broke the gun down. That was a preliminary statement that was made, but the FBI came back and cleared it up that he never broke the gun down. It's not a thing anymore. So, which would make sense, because you can't break a 30-06 down like that. I mean, and then you think you'll break the 30-06 down, and then you're going to put it back together and fire it, and it's going to fire properly, or you're going to get an accurate shot. That nobody in the world would do that. You would never, you never break your gun down and put it back together and then fire it right after that and think you're going to get an accurate shot. So he wouldn't have done that strategically, and the FBI has come out since. But people are not paying attention. They're pushing, they're pushing these messages. They're not doing a real deep dive. So the FBI did come out and debunk that and say that they do not believe that he actually broke the gun down.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you, because you have that unique perspective. I don't know I don't really know anyone making content that has that perspective. And you made an interesting comment. You're like, do you all want to jeopardize this trial? Do you want to jeopardize the evidence? And you were like, I am this close to going all in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what does all in look like for you?
It's really exposing people by name that are saying certain things. I'm trying to avoid that, right? Because I want it to be about substance. I don't want to attack people specifically as
Yeah.
individuals, but going all in is like I have to address if you are someone I don't want to talk about or not, I have to put that aside and address the issues point by point. And I'm trying to avoid that. I think I can get away with avoiding that because I have people that are dear to my heart that I don't want drama with. I just want to talk about the issues. And because there's so much misinformation out there that it's really hurting. It could hurt this case
Yeah.
because when you are putting content out and the plethora of people who are putting content out and you're getting hundreds of millions of views on this content, you're potentially tainting the jury pool because everybody in America is paying attention to this case. Everybody in America has had some exposure to something. And if you are out here pushing an agenda or pushing a scenario where the FBI is involved and there's reasonable doubt, what jury are you going to be able to get that's still impartial with that having a subconscious thought about impropriety? And you don't want that to happen because you get somebody who get on the jury pool and they just say, no matter what, he didn't do it because they're convinced through the information they've seen online. And you get one juror and you get one jury that dissented and you get a hung jury. And this person who possibly killed Charlie will be able to get off scot-free. And are asking people to release information, release evidence, asking Turning Point to release evidence, whomever is doing the request, is the most nonsensical thing that you can ever say in your life. You're asking them to defy an investigation because obviously the FBI has all of that content.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking them to defy an investigation and them being witnesses and them having access to evidence, defy what they've probably been demanded to do by the FBI, to put out content online that could be used in the criminal court proceeding. And if you begin to expose or taint evidence, it may be inadmissible in court. Because if the evidence is tainted or is somehow not legitimized, the defense can say, we want to strike this down as inadmissible. This evidence has been manipulated or whatever the case may be, it's been compromised. The prosecution has let regular citizens see this information before the defense has been able to see it. And they're saying it's unfair. We didn't have a chance to prepare for this, and you put it out in the public, and the defense didn't have a chance to combat it. We want to strike this evidence as inadmissible in court. And
thank you, the Officer Tatum, for this. I don't get and understand the rate at which people be like, oh, this, check this, see this, check this. Calm down now. Or people be like, the FBI is not doing a good job. They don't trust this. They don't trust. What is your problem? What is your problem? What is going on? It literally makes no sense. No sense at all. Because this, I don't even think it was only America that was shook by this. Lots of people. I mean, I literally got people that I did not know watched Charlie Kirk, send me videos or sent me photos to say, is it true? Charlie Kirk is no more, he's gone. And I'm like, unfortunately, it is. And then I was sort of like, wait, you watch Charlie Kirk's videos, you listen, and they were like, yeah. So I mean, at this point, let the FBI just do their thing. Let them do their thing. Trust them to do their thing. Trust them to do their thing. And I keep saying, like, everything is not even supposed to be online. No matter what it is, everything is not supposed to be online. Well, yes, we the people in the public, we want to get, we want answers, right? But sometimes we don't need to know some things, or we don't need to know everything. And I'm even saying that, especially this Charlie Kirk's case, they are very fast. They are fast because it's important. They are fast. But again, not everything we need to know. We should even be happy that we've gotten to this point that we know some things. But sometimes there are some things we don't need to know. Or sometimes we may never get questions or get answers to the questions that we're looking for or that we're seeking. It is sad, but it's the truth. Sometimes you have to apply logic instead of emotions, right?
it's inadmissible in court. And a judge may say, okay, the prosecution leaked information and that's not admissible in this court proceeding.
Is there a
What is
possibility that could happen around like
well,
the early release of the bullet, what was written on the bullets? Like I know Crowder got his hands on that information. Someone leaked it, right?
yeah, no, it's certain things that, like for instance, the inscription on the bullet is just it may can speak to a motive. It doesn't
Mm.
mean that he killed a person or not. So whether they say you can't present what was on the bullet in the court of law, then that's not going to be a determination of whether he killed Charlie or not.
Yeah.
That may be if they say just say if it was associated with a hate crime, like say if they wanted to get him on capital punishment, he should be put to death because this was politically related. Then that would be a issue that they could bring up in the court of law and say this should not be admissible in court because this was something inflammatory or irrelevant, or they're going to try to say all of those things. But I don't think that that's one of the things that can cause the case to be thrown out. And therefore the FBI, knowing what they're trying to bring to trial, they don't mind releasing things that they know may not cause the trial to be dismissed altogether.
And that was
But there are
important
things,
what Crowder was
right?
doing there.
There are things that they know could get the case dismissed, and that's why they will not release that to the public. It's under investigation, and there's certain things that the FBI has to keep from the public, and until they get the trial, and then during trial, every ounce of evidence that the FBI has, its truthfulness or non-truthfulness, will all be put in the court of law, and the defense is going to challenge them on the validity of everything that they've done. And this is why people need to wait till the trial, because if you wait till the trial, you will be able to fairly evaluate the autopsy, which people are confused whether or not he broke the gun down or not. All of that will be in opening statements. In their opening statement, you're going to have all the validity of the evidence. You're going to have experts that talk about his mental illness or his lack thereof. They're going to talk about brainwashing on social media and could he been indoctrinated. They're going to have witnesses on both sides. They're going to have experts on both sides. They're going to have probably the trans person come to the stand and articulate very clearly what the conversations were. They're probably going to have his dad come to the stand and articulate what happened and why he turned him in. They have the sheriff deputy come to stand. You're going to hear out of their own mouths what exactly they heard and their sentiment behind their son who is now on trial. We have none of that right now. So people making all these conjectures and all this is to me, I think it's pointless, but we know people do it for money and clicks. But when you go to trial and you see it all played out before you, then you can make an evaluation. Then you can say, no, that don't make sense. But the defense is going to make the same argument.
Yes.
Right. And in part, if some people want to get justice for Charlie, I think it's invaluable for them to be mindful that you could be given a defense to the defense team. You think the defense team isn't looking at certain people online who are creating these scenarios of reasonable doubt? Yeah. They are. They may go down the angle of some of these people online that are pushing these conspiracy theories in journalism. And I would argue this. They may bring some people to court and say, where did you get you got this information? Are you willing to testify that your journalism discovered XYZ? And they may subpoena them to court to testify on behalf of the killer.
Wow.
And be cross-examined. I mean, I think that could be a possibility. I've been asked to go to court based on a YouTube video I did. Now, I was an expert witness in support of the police officers that I made the video about, but that's nothing to say that you couldn't be subpoenaed to court if you're a person online claiming that you're talking to parents and you're getting exclusive information that the FBI isn't looking into or they don't have privy knowledge to. They may bring you in to create reasonable doubt and subpoena you where you have to come to trial. So I think people need to be very careful with these things.
Thank you, Officer Tatum, for this, because I mean, sometimes I watch some videos and I just say to myself, like, again, what I'm gonna say is, again, sometimes if we get to know some things, is based on a need to know basis, and sometimes we may never get answers to the question that we're looking for. It is sad that Charlie had to go this way. Maybe sooner or later the truth may be revealed, or the truth may never be revealed. May be revealed in courts, or may never be revealed in courts. We don't know how all of this is going to go, how all of this is going to play. But at the end of the day, not everything has to be revealed online, especially social media, because people are going to take things differently, react to things differently. And again, sometimes we don't need to know everything. Some things just need to be kept at mystery. And if people want to want to share things, especially with this, you have to be careful what you put out there. That's just the truth. You have to be careful what you put out there, because this needs logic, not emotions. And lots of the time, people just come to say, "Did you watch the?" I mean, when I see some videos and I wonder, like, well, yeah, everybody is all of a sudden just turned analysts one way or the other, and you're just analyzing things that doesn't even make sense. Even a child sleeping should know these things. How do you go from, like, you're suspecting this, you're moving to this, you're moving to this, and we're talking about, like, people say you see the hand signals, you see this is the mic, oh, is the mic. Stop it. Stop it. But yeah, the Officer Tatum just broke it down, and I love to listen to the Officer Tatum, especially in regards to information or things like this, because he's an officer, right? Or used to be an officer. So you get to hear from his own perspective how things are being perceived, right? And most of the time, again, I'm still gonna say that sometimes we don't need to know some things. And some things should not be revealed or put out there online. That's how it is. It's just sad. And people should stop all of this talk that, which they say Erica is not grieving enough. You don't tell somebody how to grieve. You can't tell somebody how to grieve. People grieve differently. So leave the woman alone. She just lost her husband, the father of her kids, the love of her life. Just because that was not the exact way you grieved doesn't mean she is not grieving. Leave that woman alone. And that's just it. If you think the woman is not grieving enough, grieve on her behalf. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if you grieve on her behalf. Because at this point, she needs all of the strength and support she can. Not somebody to come tell her that she has to be a grieving widow, like she has to continuously be grieving. Some people go down to the point to say that she wore a well-fitted suit. Is she supposed to dress like a crazy woman? Is she supposed to look homeless? I don't get. I don't understand why people, like, love misery. You expect this woman to look like a miserable woman. Is she not supposed to look her best or look composed? If she dresses like a miserable woman or looks like a crazy person, it's this exact same people that will be like, see the way she dressed, like saying that only she first lost her husband. I mean, people are gonna talk however way possible. Leave this woman alone. Let her grieve her grief. And that's just it. Let this family be. They just, like, they are going through a through grief or loss right now. And I just pray that the Lord strengthen the family, because nobody deserves this at all. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Obviously, this was quite an necessary information that we needed to hear. I love your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.